So as fathers, I think we play a very prominent role in the lives of our children. We lead by example, show godly examples to them also, and teach them the way to go. And I believe with that, they will grow up to be better for the society.
For my kids, I make sure I let them to believe in themselves first, build that confidence in them, and of course, ensure that they tell the truth all the time.
Hello and welcome to Transparency Files, ICPC's weekly television program. I am your host, Murna Barnabas Atiai. Fathers play a critical role in shaping the values, character, and future of their children. As heads of families, mentors, and role models, they often influence how the next generation understands honesty, accountability, and integrity. In the fight against corruption, fathers have a unique responsibility. The values taught at home can either strengthen or weaken society's resistance to corrupt practices. On today's edition, we examine the role of fathers as pillars of anti-corruption and explore how fathers can raise children who reject corruption and embrace ethical values. We will hear from fathers from different walks of life as they share their perspective on parenting, integrity, and nation building. Also on the program, we'll bring you updates from our state offices and other exciting segments. Stay with us, but first, let's join Joy Aja for this week's anti-corruption highlights.
Thank you, Murna. Welcome to this segment on anti-corruption stories. My name is Joy Aja. The chairman of ICPC, Dr. Musa Adamu Aliyu SAN, has issued a clarion call to Nigerian tertiary students, urging them to serve as torchbearers of integrity and ethical conduct as the nation intensifies its battle against systemic corruption. Speaking at the formal cluster inauguration of Student Anti-Corruption Vanguards, SAV, across 5 selected tertiary institutions in Nasarawa State, held recently at the Federal University, Lafia. The ICPC chief described the initiative as a pivotal moment in reshaping the moral fabric of Nigeria's educational landscape. Represented by the Director of Public Education, Mr. Demola Bakare FSI, Dr. Aliyu characterized the SAV program as one of the Commission's most formidable corruption prevention instruments, meticulously designed to furnish students with a credible platform for active participation in the promotion of integrity, patriotism, and civic responsibility. The Vice Chancellor of Federal University, Lafia, Professor Muhammad Isa Kida, who was represented by Professor Folorunsho Ajayi, hailed the inauguration as the dawn of a transformative movement aimed at cultivating integrity, transparency, accountability, and ethical leadership among the student populace. Professor Kida underscored corruption as a formidable obstacle to national development, urging students to embrace values that would mold them into responsible leaders and conscientious citizens of tomorrow. The newly inaugurated SAVs encompass students from Federal University Lafia, the School of Nursing and Midwifery also in Lafia, College of Agriculture, Science and Technology, Lafia, Isa Mustafa Agwai Polytechnic, Lafia, and the College of Education, Akwanga, marking a significant expansion of the Commission's grassroots engagement with the nation's youth. With this initiative, the ICPC continues to demonstrate its commitment to tackling corruption at its roots, recognizing that the fight against graft must be won in the hearts and minds of the younger generation, beginning within the hallowed halls of Nigeria's institutions of higher learning. That'll be all on this segment. Transparency Files continues with Muruna. Please stay with us.
Corruption not in my country.
Hello, Alhaji. Right now I'm in Abuja. No. Hello? Adamu. Right now I'm in Kano. Yes. When I get back, I will just call you. Look, what is wrong with you? I'm talking on the phone and you are gesticulating and doing. What's wrong with you?
Daddy, where exactly are we as we speak?
Are you alright? This is Lagos.
Well, you just lied to someone that we're in Abuja.
Keep quiet there. Who told you can tell an elderly person is lying?
Daddy, you just lied. And by lying, you are raising corrupt children for the future of Nigeria. That is corruption, not in my country.
Stop corruption now.
Corruption not in my country.
You're welcome back. Corruption does not begin in public offices. In many cases, the attitudes that encourage or discourage corruption are formed at home during childhood. Parents, especially fathers, often serve as the first teachers of integrity. Through their words and actions, they teach children whether honesty matters, whether shortcuts are acceptable, and whether accountability should be respected. Today, we spoke with fathers who are intentionally raising children with strong moral values despite the challenges of modern society. Let's hear from them.
I think as fathers, we play a very important role to our children mainly by the examples we show. Our words should match our actions. You don't tell your child to do this while you are doing the opposite, because children mirror what they see us do. You don't teach your children to lie because they see you lying. Maybe somebody comes and say, tell the person, I'm not at home. Meanwhile, you're inside the house. You don't teach your children that, because when they grow old, they copy what you have done, they copy those characters, and it leads them astray. So as fathers, it's important the things we do in front of our children. It's important the way we relate with them. You should give them that free space to be able to talk to us, to be able to feel free to, when they're having issues, when they're having problems, they can come to you and speak to you. You don't be too harsh. When you're correcting them, any little mistake they do, you shout on them, you criticize them. You should be able to feel free to speak to you. And even when they make mistakes, use that as an opportunity to teach them. You don't show favoritism to your children. You don't show, if you have kids, you don't show favoritism to one, or maybe you treat one person specially, you treat the other one more specially. It breeds competition, unhealthy competition amongst them. Most of the things I do today are things I learned from my father. So the same way as fathers should teach our children, these things are not just obey this, do that, but they are things that they will grow up with, things that will mold them to become better as they grow up. So as fathers, I think we play a very prominent role in the lives of our children. We lead by example, show godly examples to them also, and teach them the way to go. And I believe with that, they will grow up to be better for the society.
For my kids, I make sure I let them to believe in themselves first, build that confidence in them, and of course, ensure that they tell the truth all the time. And they take permission before they pick anything, or even if they want something. Daddy, can I take this? That's how I'm training them to eschew the values of integrity, the values of truthfulness, and of course the values of excellence. That is what I am doing. They are still relatively young. They are 3 years old, going to 4. So that is where, if you continue to do so, by the time they grow up, they know that these are vices that I need to shun away from. I don't need to tell lies, because telling lies is corruption, and I don't need to do what I'm not meant to do, like cheating in the exams and picking what does not belong to you. So the presence of a father goes a long way in instilling discipline and in instilling morality in the children. So I will encourage every father to always be present in the lives of their children. I will encourage them to invest time, because most of us, because of work, we tend to forget our primary responsibilities on the children. So we should try and endeavor to invest more time in ensuring that we know what our children are up to, both in school and at home.
Many experts agree that children learn more from what they see than what they hear. This makes the conduct of fathers important. When fathers demonstrate honesty in everyday decisions, keep their promises, and take responsibility for their actions, they send powerful messages that help shape the character of their children. Let's hear from another father on the practical steps families can take to nurture honesty and accountability.
Whatever the father is doing should be of utmost transparency and accountability. That will start with what you say is what you do. Whatever you will do that you feel that the children will come across either by mistake or, in fact, whatever they will come across, you make sure that those things, you are doing those things right and correct, because children, they learn, they don't just learn from what you say. They learn silently with what you do, what they see you do. The level in which you hit a ball on the wall, that same force, the ball will come back to you with that same force. Now, teach a child how to be self-reliant. That means he or she should know that there are some sacrifices that a child should do. It is not every time you work or you go for an errand that you must be paid, or there will be a remuneration for that or a benefit for that. No, there should be sacrifice. Allow the child or teach the child how to sacrifice for others. And that is one thing that the youths of these days and the children, the parents of these days are not really teaching their children. And that is why patriotism is no longer seen in our day-to-day affairs. I'm using this opportunity to call on every father to lead their children by example. In the school system, parents have, parents are not doing well when we see how they behave in the school system. We should always learn how to be accountable. Whatever we do, our children are watching us.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, across our cities and towns today, the sight of collapsed buildings, cracked bridges, and failed roads have become all too familiar. Each time we see this devastation, we are quick to blame faith, nature, or bad luck. But let us be honest. Behind most of these tragedies lies a deeper, darker cause: corruption among those entrusted to build, the engineers, contractors, and officials who betray the public trust. The engineer, by training and ethics, is meant to be a guardian of safety, strength, and stability. An engineer's signature on a drawing or a project certificate is supposed to guarantee confidence that lives will be protected and resources well utilized. But when corruption sets in, professionalism is replaced with profit-seeking greed. How do they do this? By reducing the quality of materials, using sand instead of cement ratio, thin rods instead of standard reinforcement, by manipulating designs to cut costs, by signing off on jobs never inspected, by colluding with contractors to divert funds meant for quality assurance. And the result? Entire building crumbles like house of cards. Roads barely survive a single rainy season. Bridges meant to last 50 years begins to crack in 5. But the real tragedy is not just in concrete and steel. It is in human life lost and dreams destroyed. Families are buried under rubble. Breadwinners perish at construction sites, and survivors are left with scars, both physical and emotional, that last a lifetime. Beyond the human toil, the economic cost to Nigeria is staggering. Every failed structure means wasted public funds, repeated contracts, and delayed development. Investors lose confidence, citizens lose faith, and government loses credibility. We build what we should not have lost at double or triple the original cost. This vicious cycle drains our economy and stalls progress. Corruption in engineering is therefore not a technical error. It is an ethical failure. It is a betrayal of the oath to build, not to destroy. And it is high time we treated it as a national emergency. Professional bodies like COREN, NSC, and others must rise above ceremonial functions. They must be watchdogs of integrity, not accomplices in silence. Engineers who cut corners should lose their licenses permanently. Contractors who deliver shoddy work should face the full weight of the law. Public officials who approve defective projects must be held accountable. We also need civic vigilance. Citizens must learn to ask questions, demand transparency in public projects, and report visible defects before they become disasters. Finally, we must raise a new generation of ethical engineers, men and women who understands that true development begins with honesty and that no amount of profit can replace the value of human life. Ladies and gentlemen, let us remember this. When a corrupt engineer compromises integrity, he does not just weaken a building, he weakens a nation. When steel is replaced with greed and concrete with corruption, the foundation of our progress begins to crack. If we truly want a Nigeria that stands tall, strong, safe, and sustainable, then our engineers must return to the pathway of integrity, because only honest builders can build a lasting nation.
You're still watching Transparency Files. The fathers of tomorrow are the young men of today. As Nigeria continues the fight against corruption, an important question emerges. What values are young men preparing to pass on to their future children? In today's youth segment, we would hear from young men about fatherhood, integrity, and the role they hope to play in raising a generation free of corruption. Let's hear them.
What I intend to do is very simple. Just leave the example and your children will follow, because they need to have a reason to believe that what you are telling them is true. And the only way you can do that is when you yourself, you are living by those values you preach. So for instance, I believe in integrity. That is the solution to corruption in our country. So I will make sure I make them to understand by my own life that you don't get ahead by cheating. Those things will definitely come back in one way or the other at you, and even if you're not careful, your family. So I have to leave that and tell them to be contented with what they have in life. They should work hard and appreciate whatever God has given to them.
I also ensure as a parent that I instill discipline in them. They must have self-control, and then they must also exhibit respect to human dignity. I also ensure that I reward good behavior. Yes. And then one of those core values I instill in my children is to ensure that they have the fear of God, irrespective of, I advise parents, irrespective of their religion, they should respect, they should obey, or they should have that fear of their faith.
And before we end today's edition of the program, here is an update on activities from our state offices across the country. Phoenix Apolaha is our guide.
From Cross River State comes a report. The ICPC inaugurates Act 2 of the University of Calabar Teaching Hospital. In his welcome address, the Chief Medical Director of the Teaching Hospital, Professor Ikpeme, appreciated the ICPC, especially the Resident Anti-Corruption Commissioner for Akwa Ibom and Cross River States, and his team on the occasion of inauguration of the Act 2 of the institution. He stated that no system is perfect, but that his administration strives to ensure compliance with extant rules and regulations. The Resident Anti-Corruption Commissioner for Akwa Ibom and Cross River States, Mr. Baba Alaro Shuaib, while presenting the goodwill message on behalf of the chairman of the ICPC, Dr. Musa Adamu Aliyu, SAN, appreciated UCTH under the leadership of Professor Ikpeme for demonstrating commitment towards anti-corruption and efficient service delivery. And from Sokoto State comes a report. The ICPC NYC Anti-Corruption Community Development Service CDS Group, Sokoto State, organized a sensitization program for students of Sultan Abubakar College, Sokoto, which aimed at promoting integrity and discouraging corrupt practices among young people. The program, themed Integrity Begins With Me, was designed to educate students on the dangers of corruption and the importance of upholding moral values, honesty, and accountability in society. Speaking on behalf of the Resident Anti-Corruption Commissioner, Deputy Superintendent Abdullahi Ibrahim Aliyu delivered a recap of the presentation and further enlightened the students on the need for collective responsibility in combating corruption. He urged the students to become ambassadors of integrity both within and outside the school environments.
And that brings us to the end of today's edition of Transparency Files. The fight against corruption begins at home, and fathers play a critical role in laying the foundation for integrity, honesty, and accountability. Together, we can raise a generation that rejects corruption and embraces ethical leadership. Join us again next week, Friday at 6:30 p.m. on the NTA Network and NTA International. Have a wonderful evening. My name is Murna Barnabas Atiai.